Hello, all viewers out there. So this is the first Khelo Chess India Bullet Arena. This is a cash tournament, and we have around 30 participants, 32 participants playing this tournament. And this is going to be again a nice tournament because there are very good players playing this tournament. I would be covering the games from this, but you just have to wait for a couple of minutes. I have to share the link with all there. So just give me a minute, please. Meanwhile, you can enjoy the game which is happening here in the full screen mode. So, hello all viewers, just doing a quick mic check. Tournament is already started. We are 5 minutes in the tournament and the games are going on in a very good way. I am watching the games in the background and also that the tournament is happening smoothly as this is a cash tournament. We have to take care that all the things have been handled in a good way. So it takes some time for to start the commentary, but I'm here right now. So this is the current position that we have on the board. It's a beautiful night ending. Black is a pawn up. Congrats, you lost to me. Is another player. He is a good player. I have seen him games, and even my Shakti. Both are good players. They play for my team from Khelo Chess India. So I think yeah, this is completely winning now for White, and White can just push the pawns. So Black resigned here. Let's go back to tournament and check the next game. So next game, let's check between the RAGM, that is RAGM underscore 4000 versus Kawal. Both again in their 1900 rating. And let's quickly check what happened in the opening. So it was a Sicilian. So e4, c5, knight c3, e6, g3, a6, a4, knight to c6, bishop to g2, queen to c7, knight to e2, knight to f6, pawn to d3, pawn to b6. And so it is a closed Sicilian wherein white just does not play this d4, he plays pawn to d3, and later in the game he tries to play f4 and f5 for the attack. System, if you don't want to prepare the theory much, this is all about your middle game, how you handle your pawn structures, how you try to attack. So this is what you can learn, you can try to implement if you don't want to prepare much of the theory. Pawn takes, and black has this nice open file here. Black has this nice open file here. Sorry if I got a call in background. Okay, so it would be interesting how this game progressed. So f6 was played, castles, then pawn to b4, rook to h7, trying to double the rook in the h file now, pawn to f5, knight to f8, bishop to f4, queen to d7, queen to f3, pawn to g5, attacking the bishop to e3, and pawn takes, and queen goes to e8, pawn to e6, fixing up this pawn structure now. If white is able to, then this passer would be a good exchange the pieces, then this passer would be helpful for white. So bishop to d6. Meanwhile, you can look at this bishop. This bishop is completely passive now. It is trapped inside this its own pawns. It cannot go anywhere. So that's a minus for black. And then we have rook to e1, queen to e7, bishop to f2, rook to h6, queen to g4, threatening some checks over here. And then this knight can be attacked. So it's white won this game, but let's quickly check what happened in the game. Let's quickly fast forward. So this was the doubling of the rooks in the h file by white, and then we have rook f8, knight to h5, bishop takes b4, a sack here, trying to get his passes on the queen side. So queen b2 check, knight to e2, knight to e2, and then we have pawn to c3, rook to h7, rook takes h7, rook takes h7, and pawn to c2, pawn to e7, rook e8, queen b6 check, and king to a7. Just a minute, guys. I'm getting another entry here. So it was a nice game, and white has won. It was a pure queen and bishop extra. Let's go back to tournament, check the next game. So we have one more player joining in now. So let's check the next game here. Next game is between the TN champ and we can pick up this game. Shubham versus My Shakti. So the game has entered a ending now with the rook and bishop. This is a plus ending for black. Black should win this one easily. Black is thinking right now. So there is some network issues at my end, guys. So apologies for that. There might be some delay in the broadcast. So this is winning completely for black. Let's go back and check the next game. So Shri is again a very nice player and congrats you lost move. We can see a lot of games from these two players. E4 e6, d4 d5, 9 pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, pawn to c3, bishop to d6, and then we have knight to f3, knight to e7, castles, pawn to h3, bishop to f5, castles, knight to c6, bishop to g5, pawn to f6, bishop h4, queen d7, queen d2, bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, knight to f5, and now this bishop is in problem because if this bishop is taken to g3, then this bishop takes g3 is possible. So white would lose a pawn here. So knight to d2, pawn to g5, bishop takes pawn or sacrifice here. Pawn takes and knight takes. So white is going for his pawns here and versus the exposed king. So white has to develop a mating attack if he wants to win here. Okay, so rook to e8, rook to e1, rook takes, and knight to e8, knight to d8, queen to c2, pawn to c5, and black just has to make sure that uh, making the correct moves here, not wasting out any of the opportunities to exchange the pieces. And let's go back. We were on the c5 move. Yeah, let's quickly fast forward the game. So pawn takes, knight takes, the rook to e1, e8, rook to e1, rook takes e1, rook takes e1, knight to d8, queen to c2, and pawn to c5, pawn to h4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, and queen d3. So white has lost his center pawns, but white is up on time. So white has this time advantage, while black will be in immense pressure. So it's a sacrifice again on d5. Yeah, queen d5 cannot be played here because of queen takes h7 check, queen h7 check and mate, a very nice threat over here. So queen g7 was played, rook takes c5, pawn takes, and here actually rook been played probably. So this queen is pinned and white can get a queen here. Pawn takes, knight to e6, knight to e4, knight takes, queen check, king to h8, and king knight to f6, queen rook takes f6, pawn takes f6, queen takes f6, queen takes c5, and still it's a battle between these two pawns versus this knight. So queen check, king to h7, queen h3 check, king to g8, queen c8 check, king h7, And the repetition of the moves, black changes his move to king g8, queen d3 check, king to f7, queen c4 check, king e7, and this is the current position, queen c7, king f6, and queen to f4 check. Now the king has to move here, knight to f6 and pawn g. The knight is pinned and suddenly the game has turned. White seems to be winning here. Yes, white seems to be winning here. White may win this turn because he has extra connected passes here. So if he is just able to exchange the queens, white will win here. And queen f6 check is winning now. It's a simple win for white. Queen f6 check, get the queens exchanged, and just use this passer to win quickly. So that should be what white should be thinking now. Yeah, pawn g6 is a mistake. Queen should have been exchanged, and it would have been an easy win then. Now, yeah, now the black is winning probably by capturing this pawn. White will have to find some perpetual checks to survive. There is a check here, and this pawn is also hanging. Yep. So I think it's going to be a draw. Players are making, so I'm not trying to touch the keyboard or mouse to check the moves. I'm just letting the live game get it broadcast as it is. So white has to look for the perpetual checks now as much as possible. Still, we have 12 minutes in the game. I think white has got the perpetuals, but black has won this one as white has ran out of the time. So let's go back to a tournament and check the next few games. Okay, so let's next check this. 1840 is rated Dire Street versus Debanjan Sasmal. His debut 1910 rating, and this is the current position, guys. So if you look at the position, white is already having two queens, but the white king is exposed right now. With this check, this bishop can come to c3 and give another check. So I think black might get a perpetual here, if or it's a check and mate. Okay, it's a very nice check and mate. Look at a trapped king here. Quickly, we can check this opening. What happened in the opening? d4, knight f6, c4, e6, and c3, d5. So it's a queen's gambit decline. Pawn to e3, pawn to c6. It just got converted into the semi-Slav now. Bishop b4, knight f3, castles, knight e7, pawn to a3, bishop to e7, pawn to c5. And this is kind of the position wherein white would actually lose most of his attacking chances because there won't be any open files. He does not have the c takes d5 to get this open file. So this is not the best of the moves to lock the queen side. Black would be happy. Black can go for his king side attack now, probably by moving the knight back and playing this f5 and f4, f5 and g4 like moves. So yep. So that's the current position. So c5, b6, and to this game has been over. But this is the opening which you can learn, guys. But c5 is something you should not play. Okay, c5 is something that will lock your queen side and it will not allow you to play. It will not allow you to make some good attack on the king queen side here. So c takes d5 is most recommended in most of the games you can find, and then you can play b5, b4, b4, b5 to attack this weakness on the c6 pawn. So let's go back to tournament and check the. Yep. So let's check the next game. Next game, let's pick up between. Let's pick up this game. Okay. So Sorpan and Jitendra are playing this game. This is a live game, live position. So this game, black has resigned this game. The reason is this pawn fork on the e4 square. It's attacking both the pieces, and that's the game over. Let's quickly check what happened in the opening here. So d4, d5, knight f3, knight c6, g3, bishop to f5, bishop to g2, knight to f6, castles, pawn to e6, pawn to c4, and pawn takes c4, knight to d2. It's kind of an accepted gambit. Queen's gambit accepted, and this is going to be a problem now. This c6 knight, after playing knight e5 or similar moves, we black might run into some problems very soon. Knight e5, knight to d5, knight to c6, a free knight there, and that's where the loss happened. Black gave away the extra piece. So let's go back to tournament and check the next game. Okay, so let's pick up a game between Kawal and Tani. So it's a beautiful rook ending, just two versus one. So connected passes are always better than the other single passes out there. So this f2 and g5 pawns, black's pawns are a lot better than what you have its pawn on the b5 square. So queen check, and this is again a beautiful ending wherein white has to prove that he knows the technique. Yeah, this is the problem. So rook has to be close to your king whenever you're on the defensive side. That is king and rook. Your rook has to be nearer to the king to defend it. If the rook goes away, then it's difficult to play that ending. It's going to go. So rook should not go away. Let's go back and check the next game. Oh, it's a stalemate. That's a funny game, guys. Is a funny game. This is a stalemate, which should have been win for Kawal. Okay, so next, let's check the next game. Uh, let's pick up the game between Keshav Leo and Daredevil. Okay, so that's the current live position. A very nice, seems to be a Sicilian defense. Yeah, it's a Sicilian defense. And so a nicely lined up, this bishop is lined up on e4, knight is on f6, rook can come to c8, king can castle here, and white can probably play king h1, f4, f5. So you have to keep imagining all the attacks that are possible on the board right now. Queen to b8. Okay, so position currently, and the files have been opened up. A good break in the center by d5 by playing d5 by black. So white is not pawn up, but he can generate a passer on the queen by either of these two pawns. And but this is going to be more of a tactical battle now because These minor pieces are going to be very much active very soon, and then it's going to be a very nice tactics we can see on the Castle Kings. Yep, I am interested to see this one. Just we have 3 minutes remaining now, so this will be the last game of this live broadcast. So Queen C1 check now, and a black king is exposed. Bishop B5 check, and Queen D3 is now forced, and that's the resignation from white. So very nice game by black. You can check this game. So last 2 minutes remaining now. All the viewers out there who are watching, just make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button, and share with your friends as much as possible. So this is the current position, guys, and we have Shivan's leading right now with 20 points. Then we have Arya GM 4000 1976 with 14 points. Then we have TN Cham 02 on 14. Daredevil on 14. Congrats, you lost to me on 14. Shriyan Sabat on 12 and DS Scientist on 12. Keshav Leo on 10. He has paused, I think. Shri is on 8 and My Shakti is on 8. So last 1 minute remaining. And so this is the first bullet tournament that we have. Let's open this game meanwhile, and this is the first bullet tournament that we have organized this country. And I hope all the players have enjoyed this tournament. We will be distributing first five prizes, cash prizes, to the first top five players of this tournament, who will be finishing in top five. And this is the current position. And black is, I think, not in the best of its position. That six pawn is really good, and the bishop is dead right now on the f8 square. So white should win this one easily. I'm just waiting for the countdown to reach its final zero time. So now if bishop takes g7, pawn takes g7, rook to g8, rook takes h7 can be played. Okay, and then probably this pawn is supported. Oh, interesting. So white is piece up now, and white should win this one very easily. A sacrifice here, knight takes d5 can be played. King f8 and knight f6. So this knight is now pinned. A very nice maneuver, guys. This knight came from here to here, and just this exchange will be in the uh, just try to enjoy this tactics now. Just the tournament thing. Yeah, white should win this one. Let's go back to a tournament. So that's the final ranking for all the players out here. That is the ending of the first Khelo Chess India Bullet Arena. Shivansh has won the tournament, and then we have Daredevil, TN Cham 02, RAGM 4000. Congrats, you lost to me. These are the first five players. These are the winners for today, and you can these players, if you're watching this live broadcast, you can just send me the your GPay numbers, and let's check